Good morning, lovers. Don't mind the baggy eyes. I just woke up a little while ago. Having my greens. Gotta have my greens. And I just wanted to make a little video for you about a little parenting and also conflict resolution tip for you. We're in amongst a lot of conflict in our lives a lot of times. When you have different people with different likes and different dislikes, it's only a matter of time before you start pulling against each other and someone is going to have a conflict with you. So in parenting, this is especially true. Of course, when you have kids, they're growing and their wills are expanding. They're starting to experiment with the idea of being a personal identity apart from their parent. So they're learning new things, and yet they're separating themselves from the parent for the first couple of years. Especially in the womb, you're completely together. You are one. The mother is providing all the nutrients and love and warmth for the child, and then it gets outside, and that relationship is still there, but over time, as the child grows, there's more of a sense of separation between the two. And then, at a certain point, maybe 5 years old, 4 years old, and of course, going on where there can be a lot of struggle. I mean, some people say the terrible twos. It can start even earlier. I just want to share a couple of ideas with you. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not telling you this is or isn't going to work, but it can work. It can give you another, kind of a paradigm about how to think about parenting, how to think about conflict resolution, because none of us want conflict in our life. I think, everybody would say we all want happiness, but what I really think is that we all want peace. And so think about this. You ask your child to do something. I mean, as a parent, you have to get things done. I mean, you got to get to work. You got to get them to school. You got to get them to brush their teeth. And sometimes the kid will just say, "No, I'm not brushing my teeth. I'm not putting my boots on. I don't like this sweater. I don't like these pants." And they'll just start freaking out. And as an adult, you're like, "Okay, well, I know you don't like, can you just do it?" And then after some time, in these first interactions, when these happen, these first appearances of upset, it's like, okay, well, you have the empathy with them, but after a while, it can really, really wear on your mind, and you can start to become reactive. So this is where I want to share with you the idea of a tug of rope. So your child says, you ask them to do something, and they say no. Or maybe they call you a liar. Maybe they say, "You're a liar." And you're like, you actually didn't lie, but they're accusing you of it. And you say, "I'm not a liar." Or, "You have to do it." Brush your teeth now. Or, put your food, So you they give you some resistance, and then you just say, "No, I'm not a liar." Or, "No, I need you to brush your teeth now." Well, what's happened there is you can imagine there's a rope between you. There always will be. That's why it's important to cut your cords, which I can mention later. And they have just pulled on your rope. So they perceived that you pulled on theirs. Meanwhile, you just asked them to do something, and it was not intended to offend them or destroy their free will. But in their eyes, they want to do whatever they want, whenever they want, because that's what they've done their entire lives. As you raise your child, they cry, they get what they want. They ask for a lollipop, you give them a lollipop. Hopefully it's organic and no added sugar. They want to watch this show. You let them watch this show. They don't like this food. You don't make them eat it, because that's what else are they going to eat, right? Like you have to get food into them. So you sort of have to play this game of giving them everything they want for the first few years. And then eventually you can't give them everything they want, because, if they want potato chips for breakfast, then that's not going to be a very healthy outcome for them. So you have to start pulling away and setting some parameters around, okay, well, you can't do this. We have to do this at this time because we have a schedule. I have to get to work. And so they pull against you. And what do a lot of parents do? Because they have their own wills and desired outcomes, they'll say no, or I'm not. If you were called a liar or something, or the child said something that's not true. No, that's not true. Immediately do the opposite. So the child goes like this, and then you go like this, and then they say, I'm not doing it. And then you say, yes, you are. And then they say, no, I'm not. And you say, go to your room now. But sometimes that, go to your room is not a resolution, because you have to get things done, right? So I just want you to keep this tug of war rope in mind. So the child pulls their rope. What's the best thing you could possibly do in a tug of war game? You want to win this game, right? Ultimately, you want the game to end, is what you want. So either you want to win it or you want it to end. And this is the necessary outcome. I'm not saying you should never let your child do what they want. So what you want to do is you hold the rope. They pull on it. You're always holding the rope. It's only a matter of time, because there's liking and disliking in both of you. And they pull the rope. So the best thing you can do is notice that there's some tension on the rope. So the rope was fine before. It was like you had room to move together. You asked them to do something, and now they just, okay, now they started pulling. Maybe the act of you asking them to do something tightened up the rope a little bit. Maybe you didn't realize, but it tightened up the rope a little bit. And now they have a little less slack, because they don't have complete freedom anymore. So that you tighten it up a little bit, not intending to cause any conflict or anything. But now they feel constricted a little bit. So now they feel like they have less room. So because they want complete freedom, because I think at the ultimate source of our being, we are complete freedom. So the delusional part of our mind that thinks that we need that in the body as well, and in the mind, because you can't have it in the body and the mind. This is the whole crux of where suffering occurs, because ultimately the mind is expansive and free and unlimited, but you're in a body and you have a mind that's conditioned, and it's imprisoned in this sort of idea. So now they pull a little bit. So what you want to do is let a little bit go, or move towards them a little bit. So you don't pull back. So you move towards them a little bit. How do you do that? You do that with paraphrasing, empathizing, and reassuring. Now this is something that you want to do in sales as well. It's a customer service tactic. I'll share with you 5 reliable behaviors if you want. You can use it with your child. So you want to paraphrase, you want to empathize, and you want to reassure with your child. So they say no, and you don't say the exact same thing back. Say, wow, I can. Maybe you don't necessarily paraphrase it exactly, but you empathizing is the point I'm really trying to get toward. To express to you. So you empathize. You say, wow, I noticed you had some resistance. I asked you to, brush your teeth, and I noticed that you said no. Like, you seem really upset about that. Was that upsetting when I asked you to do that? you know. And then you're asking them a question. This is a really key, is asking a question. You want to always move towards people, because remember, there's this rope. So you do not want to pull that rope on them. So you ask them a question. Empathize. Wow. So I can see you're really upset. And you sort of use this technique called mirroring and matching. You don't go exactly where they are, but you try to get a little bit closer. They say when you want to communicate with kids, get down to their level. So you need to get down to their level emotionally as well. So you want to be the adult here. You're the one in control. Now, you don't want to need to be in control, but you do need to be in control. So you get down to their level. Wow, I can really see that, when I asked you to brush your teeth, you didn't do it right away. Instead of saying, why aren't you brushing your teeth? Or, please brush your teeth. I just asked you, So you're curious about why they didn't do it. So what's up? How come you didn't brush your teeth? This is a long-term project, by the way. This is not necessarily something that's going to unfold and be perfect right away. It's building a relationship. It's letting them know, I'm going to tell you why in a little bit, that you're not going to drop the rope and you're not going to pull them and yank them. So you get curious. So, oh man, so I see that I asked you to brush your teeth and you didn't do it. How come? I don't want to. Okay. I can understand that completely. I don't like, when other people, ask me to do things and I have another agenda and I want to do something else. I don't like that either. I like to be able to do whatever I want also. But fortunately I got to go to work, and I don't want to go to work today, but I got to go. So I guess that's why I got up and when I did and did all the things and got us ready. So now you've empathized and you've kind of tried to connect with them. And you say, so, do you mind helping us have a smooth morning and brushing your teeth? Okay. Hopefully. If not, you just have to, eventually you might come into those areas where you have to get a little more forceful. When the time crunch comes down, you got to be there. If you don't show up for work every day on time, you lose your job because of your kid. That's not good. So you have to play a bit of a, you have to play a little bit of a delicate game with working with them, and then to the point where it's like, okay, now we can't go on anymore. We have to get this done now. I know it can be wearisome. This is the hardest job on the planet, being a parent. So I just want to end with one more idea, is this rope idea. So there's a couple things that tend to happen that I've noticed with parents, and I've observed parents, and I had a parent. I dated a girl who had 2 young daughters, and I saw this all the time. They'll tell them what to do, which is pulling on the rope, and then they pull back and forth for a little while, and then the parent says, I'm done. Heard this a million times. I'm done. And then they walk away. I'm done. And then they leave. I'm done. Whatever you want to do. Or go to bed. I'm done. So what you've done there, when you walk away, when you can't handle it anymore and you leave the room, or you just say, I'm done. What you've done is they're pulling on the rope. You've let it go. Now what's going to happen? In a game of tug of war, when both are pulling, you're both pulling, now you've just let go. What's going to happen to your child? Imagine they feel like they're in danger. They're in fight or flight mode. So imagine there's a bed of nails behind them and in front of them, or a fiery pit in front of them or behind them. It's your job to keep them safe. You're the parent. You should have the wisdom to know that they're not acting rationally. So the last thing you want to do is start acting irrationally as well. So you want to be wise. It's all about wisdom and practice. If you fail at this, it's okay. You're a human being. You need to learn too. I mean, you're an adult, but you got growing up to do too. We all do. Until you die, you're still growing. You're still becoming more wise. So you want to hold this rope. They pull on it. You don't let it go, because your child's going to fall backwards into that bed of nails or into that fire, and they're going to get upset like you have no idea. If they feel abandoned, if you let them go, that's what's going to happen for them. They're going to feel like, when things get rough, mommy abandons me. Or they just tell me what to do all the time, and then just pull them in, like, ow. Like, it's life or death for them. It really is, especially when they're in these states, because they're not thinking rationally. First of all, they don't have a prefrontal cortex that's fully developed. That doesn't complete developing until the mid-20s. So get used to this idea of living with somebody that's irrational. You have a fully functional prefrontal cortex. If you want to work on that and build it up, meditation and mindfulness can really help. But the last thing you want to do is let go of that rope. You want to just hold it enough, or walk towards them, empathize. So you need to manage this interaction. So you hold it just tight enough, and maybe let them go. So there's not, there's a few safe places that are behind them, but when they're pulling, they're not going to be able to step in those safe places. So you just let it go a little bit. Just feed it to them. Eventually what's going to happen is you're going to run out of rope. There's going to be nothing left, and they're going to run out of steam. They're not going to be upset. They can't go on forever. Everything's impermanent. There's no way this emotion can last forever. It's impossible. There's going to be some other type of emotion. So while you're letting it go, you use some empathizing. Maybe you walk towards them. Maybe you're letting it go while you walk towards them. Even better. So you're empathizing. Be on their side. It's your kid. Be on their side. Man, they're upset. Imagine that your child is in amazing and incredible danger. That's what they're perceiving. If they're upset with you, they're perceiving that they're in incredible danger and they have to fight or flight. So if you get in that fight or flight mode, then you're perceiving that, and your prefrontal cortex is going to shut down. The best thing you can do is always try to be mindful. Keep some awareness in your body so you can feel something that's real, so your mind doesn't take you over and become deluded. Yes, you have things to do, but keep some of your awareness. Feel your body, feel your feet, somewhere in your body. Watch your breath. What happens when you become upset? Your breath becomes short. When someone's crying, the breath becomes completely jagged or really deep. Maybe if you're angry, it's not smooth anymore. So if you're watching the breath in some way, observing it, you don't have to be tightly observing it at the nose or something. Maybe you're just watching the belly, or you're just noticing that you're breathing. You'll notice what happens. Okay, the breath has become irregular. I'm at danger of becoming upset. So I have to have some special assurance and fortitude in my mindfulness, and realize that this could be a dangerous situation. Anytime you interact with another individual, it could be in a dangerous situation, because there's liking and disliking. So if they have a liking and you have a liking, great. But if they have a disliking and you have a disliking, you're going to have a problem, some type of conflict. So just think about this. Think about this rope. Make sure you don't yank on it too hard. Try to walk towards them. Let a little bit of it go. And don't let it go suddenly so that they tumble backwards. Remember, this is the person you love probably the most in your life. And you want them to be safe. So it's your job to keep them safe. And that rope, they're hanging on it for dear life. That's why they pulled on it. So keep them safe. Let them realize that they're not actually in danger. Okay, you're safe. That's what empathizing is going to do. That's what not reacting is going to do. If you react, then they're going to say, oh, mommy's upset as well, so we're definitely in danger. Now I'm going to really freak out. Or daddy. I just say mommy because I have some more experience with single moms than I do with single dads. Anyways, that's all I wanted to share for you today. I may share some other tips with you. I hope this helps you with parenting. You can use this with anybody. Anybody's upset, you have to realize that if they're upset, they're off balance, they're perceiving danger, so you have to be the safety net for them. You have to maybe apologize, empathize. I can understand that. This is one of the last things I'll leave you with is, instead of telling them no, say your child calls you a liar, say, I can understand that you think that. I can respect that. You're not agreeing with them. You're not disagreeing with them. You're just saying, okay, I respect that. I respect your feelings as a human being. And, well, I don't think I'm a liar. I mean, I don't believe I lied. I do respect that you feel that way. And sometimes we have differences of opinion. And, I hope that you'll come to see that I don't actually lie, and I didn't lie. And if you want to talk about that later when you're maybe not so upset, I'd be happy to talk about that with you. So I love you, and let's work together. Just stay calm. In the Buddha's teachings, he says there's a sutta called the Fire Serpent, and he says everything is a flame. Thoughts are a flame. Contact is a flame. Sense objects are a flame. The body is a flame. Ideas are a flame. Everything is on fire. And so if you remember this, you remember everything is on fire, well, I better put on a fire suit. I better have some mindfulness. I better be acutely aware. So that's what being mindful of the body or having some other mindfulness object does for us. If we do this all day long, have something we're keeping our awareness on, so that we're not getting pulled into reality too much, into this false reality that's on fire, that has conditions, that has beliefs and views, that has painful bodies. Just watch your life instead of being dragged around by your life. And mindfulness can really help you, and I really hope this video's helped you. So I love you. Drink some greens today. It'll really help your immune system, make you feel better. We'll talk more about that in another video. Good luck on parenting. If you have any ideas or tips below, please share in the comments. Please like this video and share this video if you think it's been useful for you. I hope it helps you in your life. You got the hardest job on the planet as a parent, and I really want to bow down to you and give you a lot of respect. So thank you for serving all of the youngsters in our lives. I love you. Take it easy.